In this short tutorial, we're going to discuss SQL Join. A SQL Join is an operation that allows you to query data from two or more tables, and this is done based on a relationship between certain columns in this table. The common column that we use to connect this table are usually a foreign key primary key pair, and that's a very important concept to know. And so we're going to use Access to demonstrate how you may create a join operation between two tables. This is the SQL kind of the question that we need to answer by issuing a query. We want to show all instructor from the instructor table, and with the following information. We want to know instructor number, instructor name, last name, first name, plus we want to know the division ID, called div here, plus the division name. Okay. However, the division name is not in the instructor table, so we cannot actually complete this query just using a single table instructor. We need to actually get the division name. The way to get it is to connect the instructor table and division table. And the common column that we use to make the connection is div in the instructor table and division, the d_id, the primary key in the division table. So this is how the query can be defined in the design view in Access, and this is the result of the query. So let's go through the process here. I'm going to say create a query. I need division. Let's just choose division for now. Hold on a second. Let me choose instructor. Let's start with instructor. I need instructor number, first name, last name, the division ID. If I run this query, I'm getting pretty much everything I needed, other than I really want the division name, not just the division ID, because division name is much more descriptive and meaningful to people who are using the result of this query. But I don't have the division name. It is in the division table, so I need to get the division table. In this case, the division table has been brought in. And by the way, I was clicking right mouse button and choose show table to select another table. And over here, on the foreign key primary key pair that is used to link or join these two tables in this for this query has been defined already. So the system will show us that this is the foreign key primary key pair that it's going to use. So if we once we have made the correct connection, now I can choose the division name. If I run it, the division name show up. So in this case, we find out that 3 instructors work for the computer science division, and 1 instructor or employee is really working under the administration division. Okay, this seems to be the correct answer. Okay, and let's close this query, and let's create another query. In this case, let me get the division first this time. I want division ID. dir means the director's employee ID, which is really instructor ID, and then division name. If I run it, okay, I'm getting basically pretty much everything in the division table. So in this case, instructor number 1 is really the director for 4 division: computer science, accounting, statistics, and mathematics. And let's forget about the R&D. That's the extra one that I added previously. So in this case, how can we find out the name of the division's director, division head? It is in the instructor table. So I choose instructor. Let me do that again. Remove it. Click right mouse button, show table. I can double click instructor, close it. Or you can highlight instructor table and say add to add this table. In this case, I can choose I don't really need an instructor number, so let me get rid of it, because that's supposed to be the same as the director's ID. So let me get rid of it. First name, last name. If I run it, okay, look at the answer to see whether that's correct. Okay, this 3. First of all, the result doesn't seem to be right, because I have several division, and now there's only 2 of them show up. Okay, and I don't really need this to be displayed 3 times. Director 1, number 1, turned out to have 3 different names, so this is totally incorrect. What is happening is that we are using this foreign key primary key pair to join the 2 tables. That's not the correct join operation. It's not the correct mechanism to join these 2 tables. I need to delete this, because really I'm actually try to find out more about this director by using the foreign key here, pointing to where it is used as a primary key in the instructor table. That's the right join, from the foreign key to the primary key pair. Remember, earlier I say foreign key primary key pair. I did not say primary key foreign key pair. So from the foreign key to the primary key, I can follow this link and get additional information about the first name, last name. So let's run this. Now you got it. I got all the division, and this 4 division has the same instructor, number 1, and now I got the name of the instructor number 1 is Patrick Lee, and instructor number 52 is Jin Liu. So this turned out to be the correct answer. So once again, in this case, I have to add this foreign key primary key pair, which was not created in the database initially. So you have to do it manually. And once you have done that, you can put out any information in the instructor table related to the corresponding director who is serving as the director of a division. Okay, and let me get rid of this table. Okay, and if you may wonder, how come in our first join operation the foreign key primary key pair show up automatically incorrectly, and in the second query we just did, I need to delete existing foreign key primary key pair and then add a foreign key primary pair myself. And can we ask the system to do it for the second join operation? Let's see. You have to go to Database Tool and choose Relationship, and we find out that I'm not connecting this foreign key to this primary key in the relationship diagram. So if you want to do that, you can certainly do that. Drag and drop from the foreign key to the primary key. And since I already have a relationship here between the two tables, the system was just wondering, do you want to edit this existing relationship, or do you want to create a new one? In this case, I want to create a new one, so I need to click No. Let's just enforce the referential integrity, see whether that works. You find out actually a relationship has been created, in this case, between dir and instructor number in the instructor table. This instructor _1 really means the same table. So if we overlay this 2, it really means that between the instructor table and division table, we have two primary key foreign key pair, primary key foreign key pair. Okay. So once that has been done, let me close it. We save the layout. Now if I add the instructor table, show table, instructor, close it. Okay. You find out I have this two foreign key primary key pair, and you have to decide which one you want to use, like we did earlier. This is not the one we want to use. Foreign key primary key, get the first name, last name, run it. So that's the right answer. And if you want to sort it by the division ID, feel free to do so in ascending order. Okay. So this is how we create a join operation. And in the actual SQL statement, an old-fashioned SQL statement, a join operation, you will say select certain column. If the column is from more than one table, you will specify all those tables in the from clause. And the foreign key primary key pair, the common column that you use to join the two tables, you have to specify the column name. If the column name, if the common column has a different name in two different tables, then you just need the column name. If they happen to have the same column name, then you have to actually say division.dir and then instructor table dot instructor name to actually clarify which column that which column in which table that you're referring to. So we've done most of this. Let's go to the next example, which is using join and aggregation function. In this case, our problem we try to solve is try to display student ID and student name and the student's GPA. And we are assuming that all courses that we offer have 3 credits hour. So I have 3 credits. So to do that, let's run the query here. I'm going to create a query. Remember, we want to find out student's GPA. So student comment to my mind first. And then students are taking courses through its registration. So here we know we want the student number, student name. We want to know the student's grade. Okay. If you run it, you find out that you have Mary's grade is 433 for 3 different courses, and we didn't know, we couldn't tell which course that is. If you're really interested in course ID, and offering number, which is like session number. If you run it, then it's a little bit more clear. You say what Mary is taking C010 section 1 and get the grade of 4, and another course, different section 3, but still not very readable. And if you really want, for instance, you need to actually go to the, since I have the course ID, I can actually go to the course table, link this two together. Once again, this is a foreign key where it's used as a primary key. I can drag the title. Okay, I double click title, so I think I got it. So in this case, you can pretty much tell Mary took Intro to C++. Doesn't work. This link to the title itself doesn't seem to work, because here, well, let's see. Let's find out whether it's working. Let's sort it by Mary. Yeah, it's working. Course, different section for Mary. So Mary took Windows NT, Intro to Power Builder, Intro to C++. Tom took 4 courses, different section, different course with course name. So that seems to be doing okay. Let's get back to our original query question, which means what is the GPA for the student? And in that case, we don't really need the course table here. Certainly you can use the information here to calculate the GPA for Mary and calculate the GPA for Tom by add up the grade and divide it by the number of courses. But we want the system to do it for us without calculate it by ourselves. So in this case, I don't need this. I'm going to cut it. To calculate the GPA, we need to understand what it means here. It's grade point average. We're assuming that all the courses has the same number of credit. So basically, we just need to calculate the average of student grade, which is a number here. To calculate the average for students' grade against all the courses they have taken, let's click this total. We group by the student number and student name. Choose the aggregate function AVG for average. If we run it now we get actually the average, the GPA. And earlier you may be seeing something like this. If expanded, you find out the average for Mary is 3.33333, etc. It doesn't really look that good, so we want to fix the formatting of the average, the GPA. So to do that, let's get back to our slide. There are several ways we can do like some rounding, and we can also use a SQL format function to specify how we want the final result looks like. In the design view, this is what you should type in. You're going to say the column heading will be GPA. We're going to use the format function, calculate the average for grade, and then format the result as some digit plus 2 decimal places. So this is, let me copy this. I'm going to just paste it over. One thing that we have to change is this. This should be registration. This average should be changed to expression, because this is not a simple aggregate function anymore. This is now an expression. Let's run it. Okay. We have some trouble of running this. I don't think I need gray to be enclosed. Okay. So in this case, I guess I don't need to choose since I'm using the expression, I don't need the table anymore. Earlier it was deselected for me. I forced it to say registration. That was a mistake. So I got this error message. Get rid of this. In this case, we know the gray came from the registration table. If necessary, you can specify the table name like registration in front of the gray, and so registration.gray will be fine. So make sure you choose this as expression and get rid of the table that was here earlier. Once again, this was what we have earlier when we decided to use the expression. We click over here, you find out that table is deselected. Okay, and that is fine. We need to change this to expression. Okay, now if we run it, it looks pretty good to me. So we got the GPA for each of the student. So this is how we can calculate the GPA using join and using some aggregate function in an expression for better formatting purpose. Okay. Let's look at additional example. For instance, and if you want to find out how many students register in each of the course section in the fall of 1997, and we're assuming the starting date of the fall 1997 is, say, October 1st, 1997. And we need to get the course, the offering. We'll choose the course ID, the title, offering number. And we need a start date to limit our search to four 1997's courses. We'll choose student number and apply the aggregate function count to count how many students enroll in each of the course section over here. This is actually just a criteria to limit our query to the fall 1997 course. So we have to change this to where. Okay, so let's quickly do this. I say create, query design, and I want course, I need course offering, I need registration. So in this case, I need course ID, offering number, title, I need student number, I need to count the student number to get a student count for each of the course offering. If you run this, we're getting like 6 course section and then student count in each one of them. However, don't forget we do have a criteria. That's the starting day. And when you choose the start day over here, you find out that this should not be group by, this should be where. I don't know whether you notice or not, when you change where, this was deselected because we don't really need a start date, we just use it as a criteria. So over here, I need to specify and say the start date is equal # October 1st, 97. Okay, if you run it, then we're only getting 4 courses offered in the fall of 1997 instead of 6 courses. Okay. Assuming that we have some courses starting date is not October 1st, it could be starting from September to end of October. If we want that, if that's the case, then we can change this to between. The start date has the data type. That's why we need to use the pound sign to specify, like September 1st, 1997, and let's say October 31st, 1997. Okay, so we are actually, in this case, getting a range of day, which means that any course started, say, from September 1st to end of October is considered 4 courses. Okay, we should get the same result because in our particular case, the starting date is always October 1st. That fall in between these 2 days. Okay, so between is another keyword. Okay, let me just show you a little bit in terms of the difference. Here we're just using a specific day, but here the complete expression is between September 1st, 1997 and October 31st, 1997. Okay, so that's complete our discussion of join operation, and in this case we're dealing with a join operation using some aggregate function, and sometimes have additional criteria to limit how the aggregate function is supposed to work against a certain row. Thank you.